Raymond Kehoe was born on December 30th, 1953. What does that have to do with anything? Well, on December 30th every year, I give a call to Raymond. While this call happens like clockwork every year, it is probably the one time per year that our conversations don't occur out of the blue. Sometimes I'll get a call from him at 6 in the morning, other times at midnight. They vary in length from 2 minutes to half an hour to even an hour and can cover any topic you can think of. Encouraging me to join the Army? Check. What type of fruit is best? Check. Which Star Wars movie is the best? Check. Needless to say, these calls mean the world to me, and my Uncle Ray has had a tremendous impact on my life. Some of my most positive memories from my childhood involve Uncle Ray. When I was 5 years old, we visited him all the way out in San Jose, California. Keeping a 5-year-old busy is probably what he does best at in life. Shortly after our arrival, Ray tells me we're going to go wash his car. I remember thinking that washing a car could not possibly be fun. The next thing I know, we're chasing each other around with a hose on the driveway. Water soaked through every inch of my clothes I wore, feeling as though dumbbells were dangling from my shirt. I think we eventually got around to washing the car, but that obviously wasn't the priority. I remember laughing and smiling during that entire visit, as life couldn't get any better. As I got older, we both moved around a bit, and I really didn't get to see him in person again for about 9 years. At this point, he was living in Denver, which meant that we were much closer distance-wise than before. This also made us closer in every other way imaginable. For about the next 5 or 6 years, I was able to visit him twice a year. While I was no longer 5 years old, we still washed the car occasionally in the same fashion. However, at this point in my life, he became my mentor. This sparked a tradition involving what some may call, specifically my parents, unsolicited advice. During my early years, I thought I knew everything, but Ray proved me wrong. This advice would range from career advice to schooling advice to love advice or just general life advice. Sometimes it was information overload. So he would preface with a grin and a wink and saying, "Now Michael, I hope you have a pen and paper to write all this down, because I won't say it again. I'll probably forget." While some things he said had to be taken with a grain of salt, the principles of what he advised rang true. One of his lessons that really stuck with me was to stay positive. This may be simple for some, but I struggled to stay positive through hardship at that point in my life. Wanting to be like Ray, I learned how to fight through it with patience and exceedingly positive attitude. I owe a significant amount of my maturity and development to him. Hospitality is another key that I have learned through the way of Ray, as he calls it. Every single time we visited, he welcomed us with open arms into his home. While this is not unique to my uncle, as I'm sure that most everyone has a welcoming family, it made me realize how important family is to me, and that having your doors open to them at any time will encourage them to visit and become closer in the process. He's often told me that he could not be happier in life because he gets to see his children and his grandchildren every single day. I have never not seen him with a smile on his face when he talks about his family. Over spring break, I was planning on visiting him for the first time in about 3 years. But because of current events, I had to cancel my whole trip. I planned on thanking him for all that he's done for me by telling him all that in person, but it's unfortunately had to be put on hold. While my parents have had the strongest influence on my upbringing, I wanted to commemorate Ray because he has greatly shaped who I am today. Whether it be through the phone or in person, I've cherished every single moment I've had with him.